Welcome. Welcome to today's live stream, day 20. And if you're here for the first time, I want to welcome you. By the end of this stream, you will learn, right, the art of developing an AI platform or vibe coding, right, what it takes. So today, we're just going to discover that, right? What would what actually would be, right? And sometimes you might have ideas, right? I'm going to show you some of the ideas that we had and we've been working on vibe coding in the last few weeks, right? And what it's taken. Now I want to ask you, right? What if the next £1 billion software company isn't built by a team of 500 agents or engineers, but what if one person, right, could build an army of AI employees, right? Or even a platform of some kind, right? We're entering one of the biggest technological shifts since the internet. You don't even need venture capital nowadays. You don't even need a large development team. You just need the idea, right? One idea, AI, and the willingness to build. Whether you are a business owner, a developer, a complete beginner, learning to vibe code, or you're witnessing the birth of a brand new economy, right? This is what's happening right now, where anyone can build anything, launch any AI platform, and create digital or with the creation of the digital workforces that operate 24 hours, right? Today, I'm taking you behind the scenes as we continue to build our AI native platform, which we deploy digital AI agents in companies, right? So they can move towards having an autonomous workforce. So by the end of today's stream, you'll understand why AI platforms are becoming the biggest opportunity, right? Business opportunity for decades, how coding is changing software development forever, and why the future belongs to people who are willing to learn and manage AI employees rather than use AI tools. So let me just show you. All right. This is a platform that we've developed, right? To empower businesses to develop autonomous workforce, right? And AI agents who can work across all streams, right? In all different departments. So we are entering the rise of vibe coding for sure. Let me just see this. Right? Let me just get this up. Right, we are entering the rise of vibe coding. Just 12 months ago, believe it or not, right? 12 months ago, many people believed software development was only for programmers. Today, business owners are building SaaS, right? Software as a service. Creators are launching AI products. Marketing angels are creating internal platforms, right? Consultants are building AI assistants. Students are creating applications. Entrepreneurs are shipping products, right? Weekly instead of by the year, right? This is what many people know are known as vibe coding, right? Instead of spending months learning every program language before something useful, you describe an outcome, collaborate with AI, and you can build something awesome. The skill is shifting from writing lines of code yourself to designing systems, solving problems, right? And guiding AI effectively, right? So the new skill, right? The new skill isn't coding, right? The new skill isn't coding, it's system design, right? The winners over the next decade won't necessarily be people who typically are the fastest, right? They will be people who know how to design businesses, right? How to automate operations, how to connect systems, how to orchestrate AI agents, how to create experiences that customer actual value. Coding now becomes a piece of the biggest capability, like literally arising, right? Now we're moving to the rise, right, of a digital AI workforce. This is the biggest idea behind everything, right? We're building. The biggest businesses have always hired people to perform, and now businesses are assigning some kind of work to AI systems. Now businesses are belonging, right, or starting to understand that we are in an era where we can build a digital workforce and build departments of AI agents, not to replace human beings, but to automate repetitive tasks, increase capacity, and let people focus on higher value tasks. Imagine a company where digital specialists such as an AI specialist, marketing, customer support, research, finance, operations, HR, content, right? Project management, or executive CEO, each one handling specific responsibilities. Why? People work on strategy, building relationships, and making decisions. And now let me just go back, right, to show you, right, how the biggest shift, right, businesses have had in the last 30 years. In the 1990s, right, computers were transforming offices. In the 2000s, the internet connection to the world, right, started the transformation. In 2010, look at these 10-year gaps, right? Internet, right? Literally, cloud software computing allowed businesses to scale, right? In 2020, right, artificial intelligence created digital workforces. This is where we are right now. So in 2030, companies will be built around AI workspaces, right, rather than traditional departments, right? This is what I want you to really understand, right? So let's so we have gone from the industrial revolution to the computer revolution to the internet revolution, to the mobile revolution. Now we're at the artificial intelligence revolution. And then next stage, right, we're moving to the digital workforce evolution, right? I want you to bear that in mind, right? This is where we're at with things, right? Time is shifting, right? And this is why building platforms is such a huge opportunity, right? We never had this capability before. I remember, was it like 10 years ago, I tried to build a platform. I had to hire programmers, I had to do this stuff, right? I even studied programming, right? But I found it difficult to problem solve, right? But now we don't need large teams, UI designers, product managers, QA testers, development engineers, or significant investment, right? The game is changing, literally, right? We are in the era where things would look like this, right? We have a chief CEO, right? We have human team, we have AI operations, and they will run departments, sales, marketing, support, research, and planning, right? Why? So this is what I want you to understand. Why building an AI platform, right, is so important because it solves tasks. We want to build something much bigger, right? A platform where businesses, this is what we're doing, can deploy, can coordinate, can manage entire teams of AI employees all at one place. Imagine logging in every morning and seeing, right? Missions complete overnight, new leads discovered, sales opportunities qualified, reports generated, marketing campaigns prepared, content created, dashboards updated. Instead of seeing 10 different tools, AI workforce collaborate inside an operating system, right? That's the vision, right? And for us, this is what we've built. We've built a platform just to do that. Just to do that. The platform's called SupremeX.ai, a list of Supreme agents what empower individuals and businesses, right, to run complete departments. Complete departments, right? So AI is changing the world faster than what we realize, right? Every major industry is being affected. Healthcare, education, finance, construction, law. Oh, let me just make sure. I didn't even see share my screen. OMG. My screen was being shared. Yeah, this is the platform that we're actually building, so you can see it for yourself, right? Supreme X.ai, Supreme Agents, right? A platform of Supreme Agents, right? So let me just backtrack for a second, right? Yeah, as I said, AI is changing. The world's at a same rate, right? And every major industry has been affected: healthcare, education, finance, construction, law, recruitment, manufacturing, software, media, retail, right? The question is no longer, will AI change my industry? The better question is, how can I adopt before my competitors do, right? And because you missed earlier, I just wanted to show you, right, literally, right, what I was talking about. This is the future where you have the chief, you'll be running a company, you have a human team, and you have AI operations doing sales, marketing, support, research, finance, right? So this is the world that we're moving towards, right? This is the world that we're moving towards. So if I show you, right? And this is what you're going to learn from today, right? Today, you're going to learn how to build an AI platform, right? Or I'm going to show you how we built it, right? The architecture behind digital workforces, how AI employees and agents communicate, why we vibe code, right? Accelerating software development, the mindset acquired to build an AI first company, and tools that we use and lessons that we've learned, right? So let me just go into my platform, right? I'm going to give you a display, a tour, right? This is our agents working, right? We built a platform where agents can build or help people deploy tasks in their business, right? But how is that possible, right? First of all, every business that we work with, even in our own business, we help build a. This is the command center, by the way. This is the command center. In this command center, we can see our agents running. These are all different agents running, right? This is where we come in, we operate, our bird's eye view. Our team, our agents, these are actual physical agents, right? Our actual physical agents, we can communicate with each other. This is the chief operating officer, right? Who coordinates all the agents, right? We have 60 plus agents that we work, and sometimes we deploy 5 to 10 plus agents in the business, right? A few at a time, right? This is where the chief brain is, right? And we have alerts. This is where we monitor them, right? So it's an orchestrated ecosystem. It's an orchestrated platform. Then we have our list of AI agents, right? And here we just turn the nozzle to assign them to give them access to the business playbook, right? If I go here, right, these are what each agent does. Every agent, this is how we build it. What it does, how to use its notes, guardrails, right? This agent also has running, right? This agent can run with Hermes, and some agents run with other agents like Hermes, Claudebot, right? So this is us developing detailed agents, right? What this agent does, right? The best way to use it, the guardrails. Every agent has guardrails. Every agent has safety compliance, right? It's so important, right? Outputs, guardrails, right? Every single agent is the same, right? This agent, right? Best way to use, what to use, guardrails, right? So these are detailed agents who can carry specific tasks, right? They're all carrying out specific tasks, right? So, how do they know how to collaborate? First of all, we develop a business playbook. The business playbook is crucial to the business because in the business playbook, we write the business playbook, the offer, it does, the core services, the revenue model, right? The mission, right? Everything, the VSL, any, right? Then here we write the ICP. This is the brain of the business. The business playbook is the brain. Then we work the sales process, ads and hooks, the objection banks, SOPs and operations, right? How the business operates. Then we have a knowledge bank, right? Where we can upload all documentations in a markdown file where the agents, right, and digital employees can understand what that company or business is about. Is so crucial to understand, right? Then this is how we run the agents. We can run them individually. We choose an agent, like this agent's a revenue loss calculator. If I chose it, I open up the dashboard, it goes to work. Every agent has its own separate dashboard to communicate with us, right? So let me just, so this agent's dashboard is different, right? If I go to new run, I can choose another agent, right? I can choose any of these agents. Let me choose another one, a YouTube and a planner agent, right? Here's got a string of five, several different agents to together, right? Like you said, right? Ideas. This agent, right, is all about developing long content and turning long form content into 30, 40 pieces, right? Because visibility is currency. And here is where we plan, right? We just put the top 10 niches, or for example, of of the competitors, right? And it'll go and pull up all the top videos, right? So we can see what they're at. So we can discover content gaps, right? So let me go back, right? So it tells us all the top competitors. Then from there, we go back, right? Then we write scripts, right? We put a script, it will generate a script for us, right? Whether the script is top of funnel, middle of funnel, or bottom of funnel, right? So let me just go to previous scripts that we made. These are previous scripts that we made. So this is very specific, targeted agent, specialized task, right? These are like, now this is like a content agent, right? So we see the script here is developed. We see the raw script here. We can modify that. Then we see various hooks that we got options, the promise, the intro, right? We have different types of intros we can choose from. Then we have the outro, call to action, monetization angles, right? Expansion series. If we want to expand from that piece of content, we can choose different ways we can expand, right? And then if we just generate script, generate script, then we go. Then also, right, we've got a B-roll studio. This is just one content agent, and we've got a few. If I open up the B-roll studio, right, let me go to one of these. You see B-roll, we put the script here, and it starts generating B-roll for the scripts, right? Let me just go. Let me see this. Yeah, each scene has its own B-roll, right? So now we can shoot content, we can create the B-roll, right? The world's uh the oyster, right? Now we also create channels. Channels is so we can connect with other pieces, with like Stripe, social media accounts, so we can post content to those platforms, right? So this is very specific. Also, we set up an MCP server, right, where we can communicate with 1,000 other platforms on this platform. Also, the agents can do this, right? So the performance of every agent, right? Here we've got schedule, right? We can schedule stuff, see what's coming in. When people book on the calendar, we can analyze what happens. So here's an ecosystem, right? A AI platform we developed, right? Now let's go back into, I was going to show you, let's go back into, I was going to show you specifically. Yeah, the playbook, our missions, right? The missions is so important. With the missions, right? This is where we get agents to work together as a group, right? To work this seven group. This is the future, right? This is how future businesses are going to be operated, right? This is the ecosystem of a business, right? Here you can have 10, 20, 30, 50 plus employees, even 500 plus, right? All operating through an ecosystem. If I go to here, I see mission control. This is where I see the missions of the businesses, what business of I can say, oh, I can develop a new mission. If I go to a flow chart, right here, I'm going to preload a mission. Let me do page ads content. This is one agent, this is one agent, this is one agent, right? This is the agent that promotes the content after it's done, right? So I can connect this agent to this agent to this agent, right? Now create a routine. So now these whole agents can start communicating together, right? This is awesome. And we can schedule this mission to work daily, to work weekly, right? To work monthly, any given time. We can even set triggers, right? We can even set triggers, right? I can set this up. I might say run every hour or schedule for later, right? And I just put this schedule. Let me see. Let me just say, or I can put send email, right? It's going to send the email, right? It's going to send the email, right? So this is giving us complete control. Right? Imagine all these are like AI agents, and I'm building the mission of how I want them to work with. Right? Once you get familiar, this is so awesome because now I can build 30, 40 different agents to work together throughout the whole week on Pacific class, right? And they just go and work automatedly, right? And the chief operating officer knows what actually happened at any given time, right? Because when I go back into the chief operating officer, right? Let me go back here into the chat because also we can see what agents are running, right? Our chief operating officer knows what agents are running and schedules tasks accordingly, right? And after that, our alerts, right? Center, once a task is complete, task complete, complete, complete. This is the future of work, right? This is the AI platform that we built to empower small business and enterprise businesses, right? To take things to a whole nother level and help them build AI native businesses and companies. So if I go back, let me just go to this. I want to show you, right? So basically, this is what you've just seen, right? You just saw our platform, right? Then we have client workspaces where we deploy. Every single business has their own playbook, their own business industry playbook. They have memory, they have agents, we have integrations, we have permissions, right? Unless they're all coordinated together, right? Also, we have an MCP, a server. And the purpose of that server is to go and connect with CRMs, right? Like Go High Level, all these different functions, all these different other applications that are out there, right? NA8 if you need to, it's not necessary, right? Claude, Cowork, Hermes, right? This is how we connect into, right? So the MCP component, number one, what is the MPC? The MPC acts as a server and a mutual communication point for this platform to communicate with other platforms out there, right? They communicate. It's just like when we had the USB. The USB, right, was or now it's the C type, right? Was the universal language for the application, electric components, be it a phone or whatever, to connect to other devices from other companies, right? This is how it was possible. So the MCP server does the same thing. And what does it do, right? It provides tools, right? Actions that the platform can. So it can create contacts, opportunities, draft stuff, right? Prompts, right? It creates prompts so you can prompt other platforms. We can prompt co-work to go in here and work on our behalf. We can do so much stuff. Authentication, permissions, capability discoveries, right? And logging in. CP, right? The MCP gives us tremendous power to know our platform can link with any other thousand plus platforms, right? So if you're working with agents, they now can plug in to Go High Level, to any other CRM, right? To Facebook, so you can run your agents can run Facebook campaigns, right? So this changes the game of how things are. It completely changes the game. So I want to show you the power of building such platform, right? We even have, right, a auto dialer. So we even have a sales department. In sales, we have a cold call inbound agent, outbound agent, right? A sales dashboard, right? Where we can monitor a sales analysis agent, where we can monitor every single phone call. Sometimes we run campaigns, we have 1,000 calls, right? If you're running so many calls, it's hard to analyze. So in this sales dashboard, we monitor what's actually happening, right? We can monitor and see anything that's happening, right? Like 2,000 calls were made. It is impossible for you to listen to the call yourself. So here we can come and we can the sales analysis agent listens to the call, rates the call, and show us which has the highest business intent, right? This is just an agent. Imagine that, right? So another key factor on this platform is setting up a browser environment, right? This is important, right? So every agent, we assign it a browser in agent. So sometimes we don't have to apart for security reasons. We just log in to a supported browser once. And once we're in that browser once, the agent now can log in to that workspace through that browser and start operating, right? Because when you've got 40 agents, right, they need a workplace like a computer or a laptop to execute. Now we can create multiple browsers for them to go and work, right, without having code authentication. Let me just come back and let me see. Right, I developed something. I'm gonna just get for you. Let me just go to run this agent, right? That changes the game, right? So let me just, uh, I'm going to open this agent dashboard, right? So this is where the browser becomes so powerful because once we've got agents, they need an environment to work in, right? And we have an MCP with browser base, right? Browser base actually acts as a workspace where the agents can go into at any given time, right? And this is what we call a persistent browser. We have the user, right, clicks to the persistent browser. Now the persistent browser creates a workspace browser which the agents can go and operate now, and they can go in there. They can log into websites like LinkedIn, Facebook, G, Google Gmail, High Level, Spotify, Shopify, right? So this becomes powerful, right? The browser actually stores what makes it possible. It actually stores cookies, local storage sessions, authentication, browser history, extensions. So that means every time we don't have to keep on requesting the password, right? So the AI agent receives the mission, right, in mission control, and then they're deployed, right, in this given work fashion, right? So this is really powerful, right? And then this is just the process of how the persistent agent works, right? Because we have to, number one, the agent has to log into websites. Remember, they're acting like a human being, they're a digital employee. So to do that, when you log into websites, sometimes you have login sessions, browser history, preferences, website authentication, right? And that's what the persistent browser overcomes, right? It makes it so doable, right? So this is how where we're able to make things happen, right? Change the game and make things happen, right? So this is the persistent browser. Browser setup, right? This is how we built the architect of our platform, right? In addition, right? Let me go here. In addition, right? When we're doing something, we test features, right? We test features. This is how we test features. So we can turn any feature on a platform on and on, right? This is our greatest. So sometimes we've got users on the platform. We just have test accounts and we're testing features, right? This is a game changer. So we can test features just like that. We can we can test, right? Auto dialer, right? We can assign what workspace we want to test them in, right? So you don't have to be in every workspace, specific platform features, right? This is an awesome breakthrough, right? We test AI employees, right? We test the interface, right? But through testing, that means we can switch things on, we can switch things off, right? Also, we have a Claude Pot terminal which we can liaise with, right? Claude is like another external agent that operates here, right? And we can communicate with it. So this is how we've built our platform, right? And we did build it via um vibe coding, right? Using Claude on Code Agent Swamp, right? Let me just initiate this, right? We like to initiate, right? 5 or 6 agents at once. So let me just initiate in, right? This changes the game for us. right? So we are coding with 6 or 7 different agents, Claude agents. Let me open up 6 terminals, right? So I want you to know this is our method, right? When we vibe coding the platform, right? Let me initiate. All I have to do is just initiate these projects, these windows, activate them, right? Then we can, then every agent has a role. These are all agents, and these agents have a swamp of agents now. This is like our coding agent infrastructure, right? I'm just launching it, right? So you see. And then this is, we can be up and running, right? Up and running, right? Vibe coding the platform, right? This is a game changer, right? Literally, right? We've got an army of 6 agents, coding agents, right? What we're deploying. Literally what we're deploying, right? And that's our code, that's our flow, right? But we do this to make the platform very secure, right? And let me see the security, the platform security. Also, we've got security agents, right, which help the platform be secure. So let me just go back, right? So this is what we're building, right? And we're looking to change the game, right? And we'll be building this AI native company live from the ground up. So now I just want to cover some questions people were asking me, right? What are the biggest misconceptions about vibe coding, and does AI do all the work? It doesn't, right? The best vibe coders treat AI like a senior developer, architecture designer, and a pair programmer. They provide clarity and direction, but you still have to have a vision, right? You still have to have a vision, right? And here are 7 practical ways which we can dramatically, I would say, improve your roots. Number one, to start with a vision, right? Not the code. What is it that you want to achieve, right? Most beginners, they just like throw something up, right? Build me a CRM, right? But no, so much thought went into building this platform, right? I'll say it's got 5 million lines of code already, right? It's so in detailed, right? So you might start with a platform with one feature, right? But our platform has over at least 500 plus features, right? And it's got like 60 agents, right? Two, if you're creating a product specification before writing code, you can, right? Normally, you can use like ChatGPT, Claude to do that to empower you, right? And just start with a starter prompt and then take it as you go along. And then you can use platforms like Claude Code, or you can use Claude Code, you can use Codex, or you can use these interfaces like Lovable, Replit, etc., and whatnot. But right, let me see. Also, I would say, right, using we use different coding agents, right? So then we have like each code agent, we have like a project manager, front end, back end developer, a checker, or a code reviewer. So each one of these agents are playing a different role, right? So it's not just like, yeah, this is a more advanced infrastructure. But when you start, basically, you can start like, I'll say, start with like a basic, like on a basic platform, right? Then you can grow, right? But this is how we are looking to empower businesses, right? So, and the future is, if you see, you can use ChatGPT, or you can use Claude, right? But for building a company, right? This is the future of how companies are being built. This is the future. Because, like you said, let me just go into you see an army of AI agents that can be deployed. Let me go back. We have an army of agents that can be deployed, right? You with me? We're moving to the space of building a digital workforce. Literally, that's where we're moving, right? And I want you to be on board of this digital workplace force. And if you have a business, if you're an agency, a coach, right? Or you're a founder, you have a service-based business, or you have a big size business, right? This is the future, right? If you want to know more about our platform, just you see a link in our description, right? And we take on people every 30 days, right? We have a cohort of people where we take on people and empower them to build anonymous workforce, right? And do things at scale. Because before we used to have a big team of 30 to 40 plus people. Now what the agents do is tasks, they do it in 10 minutes. What some of our team used to take like 5 hours, even an hour, right? Even sometimes it's 2 weeks. The agent can do it in a relatively short time. So your productivity increases, right? And this is where we're moving, why every department, if you have AI agents in different departments, right? You're going to be light years ahead of those businesses, right? Who are still stuck in the past and maybe are just using ChatGPT or Claude in isolation, right? Prompt by prompt by prompt, right? This is a whole ecosystem. So I hope you found this stream useful, and I'll see you on the next one.